two ranked teams, Kentucky at Ole Miss. Ole Miss 7-point favorite here, over under sitting around 53 and a half. By the way, one of the best bets that you can make on the road, coach on the road, as far as unders are concerned, Jimbo Fisher by far is number one. Number two is Mark Stoops. And the interesting thing about this game is I still don't know if we know who Ole Miss is. Now, they should get a couple key defenders back. They should get healthier in the backfield. They might get Robinson back at receiver. A bunch of their guys didn't play last week. Ole Miss also has just been doing nothing once they get a lead. They went up against Tulsa and then did nothing. I had Troy, and luckily Ole Miss said, we're not going to do anything. So I don't know if they're just not showing anything, but it's a new quarterback. You would think they would want to get reps. It's a bunch of new players across the board on offense and defense. I call them transfer you. I think, look, I like Ole Miss in this game, up if you can get below 7. I have been low coming into the year on Kentucky. My mind has not been changed at all. This is a team that their offensive line is a disaster. It's a disaster. Look, they went and beat Florida when Anthony Richardson just shit the bed. They had a good defensive game plan, and we talked about how it's a bad matchup for Florida. But, Miami of Ohio, they got lucky in that game. That game was close, and then Northern Illinois against their backup, that game was way too close for comfort. Against Youngstown, they're throwing picks. They couldn't run the ball against any of them. They're 123rd in EPA per rush, 95th on early down EPA. It's bad, this offense. Will Levis has not been as advertised. They really miss Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, on the flip side, they do get Chris Rodriguez back. How effective will he be in his return? He should provide a big boost to the rushing attack. I still don't know if we know what this Ole Miss offense is. Kentucky's going to prevent the explosive play. Ole Miss does the same. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of explosive plays in this game. Ole Miss, I think Kentucky's really going to lean on the run. I like Ole Miss. I don't feel great about it. I do really like the under. Stoops unders. He had a quote on the road. I think they want to take the crowd out of this game, get back to their identity with Chris Rodriguez. And Stoops had a quote earlier this week. He said, everyone was asking about Rodriguez and the running game and how it's not been good. And he said, oh, now everyone gives a shit about the running game. I thought no one cares. No one now the running game is important. I think Stoops wants to get back to hammering, running the ball, and defense in this game, take the crowd out of it. So I would look under here. I know we got beat so hard on a defensive holding call on Kentucky on 4th down last week, and then Northern Illinois put a touchdown in to hook us, but I like the under here. I think Kentucky is going to grind this down. I'm still not sold on the Ole Miss offense. Right. Now they should be healthier in the backfield, but just from what I've seen from Dart, it hasn't really been that impressive. I know you've been higher on Kentucky than me all year. So do you like the Cats here catching 7? Your Cats?
Well, I definitely agree with you on the under. The issue is I want 55 pretty bad. That was a number. It crossed through 55 early in the week. I was so obsessed with hurricane totals earlier in the week. This one kind of flew by the radar. But 55 is the number that I'm aiming at. If I have to wait till live to get under on it, then I will. But I think, Tulsa was my best bet last week. And, Davis Brin gets injured and Braylon Braxton comes in and they don't miss a beat. And I think the thing that popped out the most for me against the Ole Miss defense is that Tulsa gained 262 yards on the ground, 6.1 yards per attempt. So if Stoops wants to find a time to get this running game going for Kentucky, this might be it, because right now, Cavassier smoke, he's had 2 fumbles. He's got middling ranks and yards after contact, just 2 rushes that have gone over 15 yards. So we'll see what Chris Rodriguez can do. And I don't know where Will Levis's game is whatsoever. Like, you see 10 touchdowns to 4 INTs. He's only had 2 big time throws and he's had 6 turnover worthy plays. And I think that there's just a lot of things going on with this Kentucky offense. The offensive line is outside the top 50 in pass blocking. Levis has seen pressure on 9.2% snaps. That's way up from 6.8%. There's a high drop rate, 9%. That goes to 12% in play action passing, which Kentucky needs to have. And, 287 yards on designed runs for Will Levis last year. Stuck, do you know off the top of your head how many designed yards Will Levis has this season?
0.
10. I don't. What is going on with the? We thought that was going to get broke out, for Florida. It didn't. I don't know where it is. Now, I do think that Kentucky's going to try to establish a run, like Stoop said. That's why we love the under. I hope I can get 55 at some point. But flipping over to the Ole Miss side, Jackson Dart, not been good. Not been good. He's not going to beat that zone coverage that Kentucky put on Florida. They're 20th in the nation in coverage. Dart ranks 107th in adjusted completion percentage of all quarterbacks with 50 passing attempts. Think about that. He's the 107th most accurate passer. Zach Evans and Quinshawn Judkins, they're going to have success against a Kentucky D that allowed 4.5 yards per rush against Florida. But I think really Kentucky was sitting back waiting for, Anthony Richardson to come to them to stop the explosive play. So I think Ole Miss is going to have some success there. But again, that's what Ole Miss is. 65% rush. So it's under all the, you're right, Stuck. It's under all the way. I don't trust Jackson Dart. It shows in the numbers. He's completely inaccurate. The Will Levis's whole entire rush game is gone. He can eat as many bananas and mayo coffees as he wants, but it's taking his legs away. So I agree with you. The under here, Ole Miss, it's a big number. 6, I'd feel more comfortable with. But I agree with you. The under here, I'm just being a little greedy wanting to get that 55.